This is Starlight Radio with Sammy V. Welcome to the Sam Valavanis Show. Today we're going to talk about the Starlight Children's Foundation and how it's shaped my life story. I'm Sam. I became involved with Starlight as a child when I was diagnosed with Retinoblastoma. Today I'm an aspiring radio host, podcaster, train enthusiast and advocate for young people with disabilities and the Starlight Children's Foundation. So I'm Sam, I'm 19, I'll be 20 next month. I'm fully blind, have been blind since 4.5, so 15 years now. I was born with a rare eye cancer called retinoblastoma, and it was bilateral, meaning it was in both my eyes.
So I've realised that Sam is incredible because I will close my eyes for a short period of time and think, I can't do this.
This is my mum, my number one fan.
He's a bundle of energy, just lives life to the fullest.
My dad, best cook in the house.
He's had his challenges, but in the last few years he's really gained his independence and just going out and enjoying life. And yeah, just letting nothing hold him back.
I don't know how I could do without my parents. They've just been so supportive of me whenever I've needed them. I've got two pretty interesting siblings. Oh, I love them. My brother Mitchell, always ready with an interesting fact. The baby of the family, my sister Caitlin, who loves being physically active. And last but not least, we can't forget Michael Caine, my right-hand man. We all live together in Melbourne, Victoria.
We knew something was wrong very early on. We didn't know what his milestones were meant to be, but he wasn't hitting them with vision and things. We were at the ophthalmologist's rooms. She had a look at his eyes and said, look, both his retinas were detached. There's only a slight chance he'll ever see. And it's possibly cancer. If it is, both eyes will have to be removed. Our whole life felt like it fell apart in that doctor's rooms.
I can't even begin to imagine how they would have felt.
That was probably the darkest time for our family. A lot of it's a blur, to tell you the truth. That first 4.5 years we just lived in and out of hospital for that whole period. We couldn't really do anything outside of the treatment that he was receiving.
Chemotherapy, radiation, radioactive plaques put directly into his eyes.
And then, yeah, we were introduced to the Starlight family and things pretty much started from there, and that's how I see it, as his second phase of life.
I loved spending time in the Starlight Express Room and having fun with the captains. They always brightened our hospital visits. Starlight has played a pretty big part in my life, all the way from when I was little and going through treatment in hospital, all the way to last year with my Starlight Wish.
Our first Starlight experience would have been just simply going to the Starlight Express Room one day, and just there was, the minute we walked in the door, it was just an escape from reality.
I think the hospital will be pretty sterile, a sterile environment, and pretty scary for kids especially. It was our one time where we could just get away from the hospital waiting area and have a bit of a break and escape and have a bit of enjoyment. Captain Starlight was always there to spice things up a bit and make things fun and give us a bit of a break as well.
I didn't think we would have any moments like that. There would be no normality, there would be no happiness, no joy, little things like that make such a huge difference and bring you back to the roots of why you're together as a family and that you're doing it all together. But you can have those moments of happiness even through the really dark periods of time.
We tried absolutely everything to save his sight, but in the end it wasn't to be.
The doctors ended up having to remove both my eyes because they couldn't treat them, so they removed the left one when I was 3. I do remember being able to see a little bit with my right eye, and then they removed that when I was 4.5 when they could no longer treat it.
We had to make that the hardest decision of our lives to ultimately make him blind, and signing that certificate to perform that operation, tore us apart for weeks, just thinking about that whole experience.
It kicked us a bit, gave us a kick in the guts to see that a grandchild go through what he did.
We have 2 senior eye surgeons who together came and spoke to Jim and Lisa to say that in spite of all the treatment that Sam had endured, we still weren't winning. And if we didn't make this decision, then we'd be making other decisions about his life. So It was a life-saving decision that they made. If I have to remember something, it's the blank look on their face of what are we going to tell you? What are we going to tell them today? Is it going to be good news? Is it going to be bad news? You can actually see them not breathing, too scared to smile even.
On the day of my big surgery, I spent time in the Starlight Express Room. We had an impromptu dance party. Even my grandpa joined in and showed the captains his best dance moves.
But we still talk about that day to this day, and we look back on it fondly, even though it was probably the most difficult day in our lives. We can honestly say that it would have been a lot worse without the Starlight Express Room and what the captains did that day, being there to be part of it.
Since then, he has been cancer-free. But Starlight have always still been there for us. Starlight have been there for weekends away, or he got a wish granted, which was only last year we did it.
My love of trains started, like many others, with Thomas the Tank Engine. I can still remember what he looks like. That's one of my last visual memories and first tactile ones. Before I went blind, my dad would actually get me to close my eyes and he'd pass me the characters and he'd get me to feel them and tell him which one it was. So that was one of the things we got to do and helped me practice for being blind. We went on Puffing Billy the day before I went blind because my parents wanted me to be one of the last things that I remember seeing, which I do, and I'm really grateful for that. My Starlight Wish was one of the best experiences of my life. A trip on the Ghan with my parents and siblings. I never thought I'd get to experience that, but with Starlight, anything is possible. The Ghan, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a train that goes from Adelaide to Darwin, and it's a 3-day trip.
I can honestly say that's one of the best experiences we've had in our time as a family. And we initially thought it'd just be Sam and one of the parents, but Starlight said, no, the whole family's going, we want you to all be a part of it.
There was a lot of interesting sounds like the train and the smells. Probably what made it most special is the whole the atmosphere of the train and getting to connect with so many interesting people from all over Australia and those working on the train. And I think it was very important for all of us because we all got to have time away together and it was amazing to have them all there with me.
What Starlight has given us over the last nearly 20 years has just been amazing, just in regards to adventures and opportunities and just chances for him to be a kid and us to be parents, and since we've had 2 others after him, just for us all to be a family. So we're still doing things with Starlight even though he's not sick, and I love that they do that, and they do it for all the family too. So it's not just about him, it's about all of us. I like to feel that I'm part of the Starlight family.
The Starlight Children's Foundation is fantastic as far as always being there for the families. Louise has been involved in our family for many years now. She took an interest in Sam's story from the time that we went into the Starlight Express Room before his operation.
His whole life he's been connected to hospitals and to surgery and treatment, and due to that, to Starlight. And it's really inspiring when you hear it from a young person who has had that experience for their whole life, and they're kind of out the other side, and they're flourishing and thriving.
For those who don't know, Louise is the CEO of the Starlight Foundation. I've really been lucky to have someone like her play a role in my life, even now. I've been invited to meet all the wonderful people at Starlight HQ. I think there might be a surprise waiting for me.
Well, hello, Sam. There's one thing that I couldn't resist today, and that was when I heard you were going to be in town with your radio voice. I thought I had to pop in to say hello and see you because I haven't seen you for quite some time.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I don't know.
Oh, no. It's Louise here.
Louise?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
It is so good to have you here, and I hear that your radio voice is spectacular.
Thanks.
You need a line to say, do you?
Yeah.
And now, proudly brought to you by Starlight.
And now, proudly brought to you by Starlight, here is the and Bolivana show.
Very good, very good.
He's got a lot to offer, and I think he'll inspire a lot of people in his life, and he already has done so in his young life.
He's amazing. Like I always used to say that he'd sort of think in life, well, ask me what I can do and I'll do it, and don't tell me I can't do this and I'll show you that I can. And I think that's really, he's really proving his point now.
Good afternoon passengers and welcome to Sandringham Station. Your next train will be the 12:45 service through to Flinders Street, stopping all stations, arriving in 12 minutes from now. I've strived for my independence and I want to show people that I can do things even with a disability, not letting it get in the way of me.
He's almost 20 now, and you wouldn't even know what he's been through in his life. So we're immensely proud of how he's turned out, and I look at him as pure inspiration, and he's my hero.
I hope that I can inspire someone else. Don't let your disadvantages get in the way of what you can do. Let your attitude decide what you can do, and if you have the right attitude, you can absolutely do anything you put your mind to. Stay tuned for the next chapter in my life story, and don't forget, Starlight Children's Foundation brightens the lives of young Australians like me every single day.